Well, hi, everybody. Thanks so much for joining. Welcome to our Words Matter webinar. We're really excited to see so many people coming in from so many different places. And we're really excited to twist with you today. I'm really passionate about words. I'm a writer. I have been for a long time. And actually, everywhere I go, we were just at an exhibition yesterday for the Westchester Business Council. People say to me, God, I have trouble with my tagline. I look at my business card and I look at how I'm describing my business, and it just seems like there's nothing special about it. Like there's no twist. And so we heard that enough that we decided to make Words Matter one of our topics for what has now become our monthly webinar series. So thanks again for joining us, and we promise you will get some insight on how to use your words and how to speak with power in your branding. So for those of you who may be meeting me for the first time, as I said, my name is Julie Cotino. I am the founder and CEO of Brand Twist, a lifelong brand passionista, former VP of branding for Virgin. If there are any Virgin fans out there, a brand that I think uses words in a really powerful way. And I've been teaching brand school for about 7 years. So, and I am very pleased to introduce you to my partner in crime, Cheryl Fisher. Cheryl, you want to say hello?
Yes, hi. Thank you, everybody. Yes, so I am a Twister passionista as well. I am a alumni of Julie's Brand School, which we're going to be talking a lot about today. And I'm also a small business owner, just like everybody on this call. So I help Julie teach brand school now, and it's very exciting, going on a few years now. So yeah, you'll be hearing lots from me throughout this hour and more to come. So today, sorry, Julie. Today we're going to give you a bit of the brand school experience. So we have some brand school alumni on the call already. So thanks everyone for coming back. We have some people who are already enrolled for April. Our next semester starts April 12th. And then we have some total virgins to the twist. So we wanted to give you a little bit of the brand school flavor, the twist flavor. So these webinars are live. This is not recorded. This is whatever happens here, happens here. And in addition to it being live, we love these webinars to be very interactive. So to make sure that you can participate and answer Julie's questions and start twisting, we ask that you all find the Zoom group chat. This is where we're going to be working together and twisting together. If you have any issues, put it in this chat and we will address it. If we don't get to your questions on this call, we'll be sure to follow up with you. But the chat is really our means to make this very interactive with you and really get twisting. So in addition to all the interactivity here, we also encourage you to have your pens, pencils, and notebooks ready, because we are going to be giving you some fantastic twists today, and you're going to be wanting to take lots of notes. And if you miss a big idea after this call and you think, oh my gosh, what was that? Don't worry, we're recording it, so you'll have everything in your inbox. And of course, we're always available for you if you want to twist further.
Yeah, no, for those brand school alumni, everybody in brand school gets a brand school notebook, so you might have your notebook with you. We'd love to just make sure everybody's comfortable with the chat box real quick. If you could type in, where you're I guess logging in from and your type of business, that would be great. I'd just love to see what kind of things are represented here. Okay, so we've got White Plains, a realtor, New York City, nonprofits, New York, hotels, marketing, Stamford, Connecticut. Oh my goodness, leadership coaching, writing, Westchester Community College, coaching, great. Vermont, oh, Tucson, Boston. Let's know if anybody's from overseas. We have a lot of international students also. Okay, great. Rotterdam, yes, yay, got Shirley from Rotterdam. Hi, Shirley, great. All right, so great, really great representation of lots of different wonderful businesses and locations and categories. And so we love that, because twisting really works in all of them, but it also has to feed off of each other. So fantastic. My tagline is brand twist. When I came up with my own business, I was looking to get my own twist, and I went through many, many taglines, and I decided on this one, which is fresh perspectives, breakthrough results. And that really sums up what I believe very, very deeply, that we have the opportunity to look at our brand, to take our brand blinders off, and really look outside of our category for those fresh perspectives. And it's not just an exercise in really just creativity. It's a business building exercise, because when you have fresh perspectives, you can get better results, better business results. And we really believe that words do matter. So my next question for you, I know there's a little bit of echo. I apologize for that. We tested ahead of time, but hopefully it's okay. Hopefully it's bearable. And if it's not, you let me know. Here's where I want you to get your fingers ready to type to, because when we think about words for branding, there's kind of three strategic choices that we're making. One is we're actually using our words as a real strong branding tool. The second is we're not really paying attention and they're kind of neutral. And the third is we're actually using our words in a way that undermines what we're trying to say. So for example, if you're going out there and saying your brand is really innovative, but you're using all the jargon from your industry that everybody else is using, you're kind of undermining that message. So here's what I want you to tell me. Here's three choices. I want you to type in a 1 if you think you're doing a marvelous job of using words as a strong tool. A 2 if it's kind of meh, I'm not doing great, but I'm not doing so terrible. And a 3 if you think you might be committing, word malpractice. Do you actually feel like you have an issue? So let me see. Okay, so interesting. So most of you are 2s. And that's to be expected. Sometimes a 3, sometimes a 1. I want to say you're all in the right place, because what I love about words is that it is a really important tool that we can all use to build our businesses. Not all of us know how to, build websites or design logos or do social media or, whatever, SEO, but all of us know how to write. Some of us are more comfortable with it than others, but all of us can at least start the writing process and then maybe brief somebody else if you feel you need more help. But this is something within you that you can use. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk to you about how to use words, and we're actually going to do an exercise together after we show you some more examples. So
I just want to mention to everyone on the call too. First of all, keep letting us know if the sound is becoming an issue, because we'll try and figure it out. But we're diving into names and taglines and words all over your brand experience today. And which, of course, we know words have power. They're so important. But the brands that we're going to twist with today, if the sound is an issue, the brands that we're going to twist with today, and also the examples that we're going to show you of small businesses that do a lot of twisting successfully, have started with the core foundation of their brand strategy. And what we go through when we work on brand twist clients and also in brand school is really talking about the who, what, why, and how to express your brand story. Today we're getting right into the how, but I'm just setting this context because there's quite a lot of work that builds up to figuring out those right, most powerful words to use for your brand for big time results. So just know that we're diving straight into, twisting 401, but there's a lot of work that will help you understand to build up to that.
Great. So when we're talking about branding, of course, and this is something that we spend some time at the beginning of the brand school really clarifying this, because even yesterday I met people, oh, you're in branding, oh, so that's marketing. Oh, you're in branding, oh, so that's creative. No, branding is really different. Branding is the core. Branding is the story of your business. You know, who you want to attract, what's unique about you. The way you express it is in the marketing. So getting that core, that nugget really tight and right and different is so important. And that's why we've created a whole school to do that. Now, it's okay to have a brand, but it's even better to have a brand with a twist. And we're going to talk a little bit more about what that means in a minute. But it's really important to think about your brand twist, your unique story being at the center of everything that you do. And then how you express that may be like we're doing today in taglines and words, but it can also be not just in advertising, but even like the way that you dress. You probably noticed that Cheryl and I are in our brand colors right now, when we always are. Your customer service, your environment, your office, even if it's just a home office, you know, everything is building towards your brand twist. So what we mean by the twist is a way to express this story in a way that doesn't come across just as the wah 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 jargon that we hear from all the other stories, but a story that really breaks through. And this is what I've written about in my own story, some of my personal elements of my story that I'll share with you in my book, Twist. But it really comes down to, you know, you're not selling a business, especially if you're a small business, you're selling your personal story. And you need to know who you're writing that story for and how you can really get people's attention. And again, words are a great way to do that. So for those of you that are new to twisting, we talk about the twist in two ways. It's a mindset. It's a change from the way that you normally think. And we're going to ask you today to stretch those muscles, to think about things outside of your own universe in order to come up with some ideas. But it's also, if you think about the twist like in a rope, you know, of two strands that come together and they're twisted together, it means that it's stronger results. So we know that by shifting to this mindset of twisting, you're going to actually get better brand and better business. So for anybody who hasn't heard my story, I'm going to tell it to you super quick. This is true story. This happened to me years ago when I was still working for Interbrand, actually running the naming group there. So my start in naming, and I was traveling Newark Airport. Not, you know, an average travel day. Actually, don't really love to travel, and this was a day where I was just sort of like, ugh, you know, the airlines all look the same, the experience is the same, getting through security was a pain. I was really feeling kind of down. And then all of a sudden I looked and I saw, looking out the window, this McDonald's airline, this 747 with these golden arches on the tail fin. And I remember thinking to myself right away, wow, that's really different. That's really interesting. I wonder what that experience would be like. It certainly would be unlike an experience that I've ever had on an airline. It would definitely have a twist. And I started to think, well, not necessarily that, you know, it would have McNuggets on board, but, you know, maybe I could, you know, I usually fly economy, so maybe I could get on with my economy seat. And, you know, if it were McDonald's airline, maybe there would be like a quick, easy way to get some extras once I was on board, once I wanted to treat myself to maybe, you know, a bigger seat. Maybe I wanted to supersize my seat. And actually, I think that's really interesting just in that when we're talking about words, because, you know, most airlines have economy, and then they have premium economy, and then maybe they have first class. It all sounds exactly the same. But can you imagine like an airline that really adopting more food language, you know, maybe have a tall venti grande, or, you know, a supersize or deluxe, you know, experience, or a happy experience, right? So by thinking outside of your category, if you were in the airline business, about the way that other brands present options, then you're really going to be able to leverage the twist. So I hope that makes sense. You know, it's really my passion, and it was actually started when I was back working at a branding agency, but then I got the opportunity to work with this guy, which hopefully many of you recognize, Richard Branson, or Sir Richard Branson. And when I was the heading up brand at Virgin for many years, I was initially attracted to that business because that's exactly what Virgin does. It twists outside of its category. It says, well, there's got to be a better way to do something, whether it's mobile phones or hotels or airlines. But in order to improve that experience, we're going to look elsewhere and twist. And actually, question for you guys, the first airline that was launched from Virgin was Virgin Atlantic. Do you know what business Richard and Virgin were in before they got into the airline business? And if you do, go ahead and twist that. Exactly, music. So when you think about it, the Virgin experience is kind of like taking a twist on a traditional airline like British Airways. And this was back in the 70s, so kind of twisting it with disco to create this Virgin Atlantic experience, which is saying we are going to, have a great experience. We want flying to be more fun, but we're not just going to try to be a better airline. We're really going to be an airline with a twist, and so we're going to look out of category. So if you've flown on Virgin Atlantic, you will know that they don't just say this, they prove it with a bar that you can sit at during the flight. So it is more fun and you can socialize and meet other people on the plane. And they also prove it with little things like, this is probably my absolute favorite example, which is the vomit bag. So let me ask you, I'm sure guys fly a lot. What color are vomit bags normally? Go ahead and type that in. White, exactly. And usually plain, exactly. So, that's a real missed opportunity because that's actually a touch point that you have to have on the airplane. It's an FAA requirement, every seat pocket, every flight. So Virgin did something very clever. They twisted this touch point of the vomit bags and they created a little story. It's a little hard to read, but it talks about, first they took away the pretzels and then the peanuts, all 7 of them. Then we got these paper pillows and, it talks about how airlines really change. But then Virgin at the end says, in Virgin, we believe that it should be a great experience. We want you to feel like you're a virgin, flying wise, of course. And on Virgin Atlantic, it always will. So in brand school, we spent a lot of time, and I hope you're starting the process now thinking in your mind, what are your vomit bag moments? What are the things that you're doing that have to be part of your business, whether it's an email signature or an invoice, or a presentation or a gift that you send to a client for a referral. Like, what are the things that you're already doing, but that could have a twist to be much more interesting? And, Virgin America, which is another, Virgin brand, talks about being a breath of fresh airline, but, they actually would prove it. Because it wasn't just about the words. So words are important, and we are going to focus on words and start twisting in a minute. But you have to back up those words with the experience. In Virgin's case, it was mood lighting, the flight attendants, the whole experience of the flight. And back to words, here's a vomit bag moment. So when you are flying and your flight is late, they have to let you know, right? Somehow, either with that announcement, or a lot of times the gates have these digital displays now, particularly in San Francisco. So Virgin team, instead of saying our flight's late, we're sorry, it's told this story. Our aircraft is arriving late due to traffic restrictions here in San Francisco. Once the aircraft parks at the gate, a rabid badger will be released at the rear of the aircraft to encourage people to exit forward quickly. Once we have secured the badger and cleaned the cabin, we'll board for DC. So why do they bother doing this? What's the point of using words in this way? I'd love to hear what you think the result of something like this is. Yeah, so it's funny and it makes them more human and you're keeping people informed, right? But yeah, it really is what Vig is saying. It's turning a negative experience into a more positive one, puts a smile on your face. And, it happens, but it's probably when you add a little humor into a frustrating situation, maybe it makes it a little bit better. So you can also use words when you're in a positive situation, but it could also be a negative situation. I'm sure a lot of you have websites where maybe there's an error and on the website people can't access your information. I've seen people put very clever things on their website saying, I'll be right back. It'll get better soon, right? It takes a little of the sting. Or for those of you that have offices, there's, or even just a home office, right? This is a picture of the Virgin headquarters in London that I took with my cell phone in the loo, as they would say. And it says, "This is the only authorized Virgin ripoff. Now go wash your hands." Well, why would you bother branding a bat? These people, they're going to think, oh, she's obsessed with vomit bags and bathrooms. I kind of am. Why would you bother branding a bathroom? Go ahead and write that in. So why does Virgin go bother putting some bathroom messaging here? Yeah, consistency. Yeah, but who's using the bathroom at Virgin headquarters? Right, you've got a captive audience, definitely. But you've also got employees, as Jane is saying, employees and guests. So, the employees are your brand ambassadors, and your guests, whether they're coming for an interview or a vendor conversation or whatever, that's showing that you really believe in the brand. And exactly as Jill is saying, to keep, employees really focused on the culture.
I love all the Virgin examples because it's like the ultimate, Virgin is really the ultimate at using its words throughout its brand. So many of you probably joined today thinking, all right, we're really going to focus on taglines, which we're going to get to. But when you look at the Virgin and how they use words throughout every moment of their brand's experience, it just creates such a more powerful engagement with their audience. I love it. And BarkBox does the same.
Yeah. It's everywhere. So here's another example of brand that I became a dog owner a year ago last week. So it was my dog anniversary. And I discovered this product called BarkBox. Does everybody know what that is? Go ahead and type it in if you've not heard of it. I'll give some more background. Okay. So we've got some yeses and some no's. So BarkBox is basically a gift box. It's a subscription box. You've probably heard of some of these, but if you're a pet owner, you sign up, you tell them the name of your dog, its breed or cat, its weight, and every month you get a surprise box that these dogs, I swear they must spray it with something, because when our box comes, Teddy goes crazy, and it's full of treats for the dog. So food, toys, some of you might be getting like Stitch Fix or Blue Apron. It's this sort of new genre of curated products that come on a monthly subscription basis. And what I love about BarkBox is how they use their words to really talk about their brand. So, they have the dogs are actually the employees. So they talk about, Floyd here is the squeaker in chief, and Frank is the assistant manager of the treats department. Our pack has your back, inspired by dogs and their people. It's, you have very clear tone that goes throughout the brand. And what I really love about it is, and this is not for everybody, and I just want to say that right off the bat, like my husband thinks I am crazy to get this. He just doesn't get it, but he's not their target. And when you are using words, you really have to know your target. And BarkBox's target are the dog parents, not the dog owners, but the dog parents. And hopefully some of you have pets, see the difference, because what they're really selling isn't just treats. Because honestly, I can get treat every time I go to Stop and Shop. I can get treats anywhere. I could get it from chewy.com, whatever. It is insane doggy joy. It is that moment when your dog realizes that you've got the bark box and you open it up and they go crazy. So, again, they really, even on their LinkedIn profile, like how clever is this? You can put BarkBox, professional dog at Bark & Co. He went to Harvard Business School. Now he works at BarkBox. I mean, they really just understand the experience at many, many different levels. And what they understand first, and this is really important about branding, brand school, and really how you approach coming up with the words, is you have to know who your audience is. So we spend a lot of time figuring out what your audience is, a narrow audience. Then what's going to connect with them emotionally. So for me, this connects with me. It's that, I get a notice from my, your bark box is coming tomorrow. I make sure I'm home. I tell my son, don't open it until I get home. I want to be there when I open it. I want to get the credit, and the love from Teddy when we open it. And, and then they also twist their language. They have fun with it and they use it at all the different touch points. So here's an example from my own brand of how I twisted brand twist with BarkBox. Every year, like many of you, I have the touch point, the vomit bag moment that I want to send out a holiday greeting to my clients. And I'm sick of the non-denominational, snow and sleds or whatever. So this year I took a twist with BarkBox, and I decided, since it was a big part of what was going on in my life the past year, that Teddy and I were going to send out a card. So we sent out happy holidays, from Julie and Teddy, the CBO, the Chief Barking Officer. And I have to say, I got amazing response to this. I was a little nervous because I have a lot of corporate clients, and I thought, are they going to get it? Are they going to think it's too frivolous? But I actually got notes back from my most sort of stodgy CEOs saying, I love this. I have a beagle too. Happy New Year, happy year. So I think it's just really important when you know what you're about, and this is very authentic to me, that you use language to talk about that and you use it in all the different touch points.
I was just going to say, Julie, on this unveiling of this twist. So Julie's tagline is fresh perspectives, breakthrough results. So by looking at BarkBox and taking inspiration from there, a very boring corporate holiday card has totally, it totally breaks through and cuts through all the competition to become really memorable. So I love twisting. I just had to plug that a bit, because the power of looking at brands around you far outside of your category to then bring in creative ideas to everything you're doing, every word you're typing. It's a lot of fun, and it really breaks through.
Yeah, and here's another great example. So this is literally, I took this photo yesterday in my the gym of the dressing room of my tennis club. I was breaking open a new pair of Spanx to wear to the conference yesterday afternoon, and I ripped it open and I noticed this message underneath, in the inside of the box, don't underestimate women who want their butts to look better in white pants, XO Sarah Blakely, who's the founder of Spanx. So again, so many moments to use these little twists of language and really connect with your target. Another example, I'm sure you've seen these in TJ Maxx, instead of just saying, this is having two hooks, I think I'm taking this, I'm not sure about this, absolute keepers, I'm not sure. I'm in the dressing room. It's a really important brand moment in their journey. What am I going to buy? How am I feeling about how I look? What, we all, a lot of us, it's very stressful to have those decisions, to have to make those decisions. Great example. And here's just such a minor example. You can see it's from a few years ago, but this is also a receipt, because now that I twist everywhere I go with my camera, I'm taking pictures in the dressing room. And here, this was Pret-a-Manger. So I went in the winter. You could see it was March 21st. I asked for their Wi-Fi password. This is what was on the receipt. Instead of saying Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi Pret, it said Toasty. And that's what I had to type in. So why do you think they did that? How do you think that makes people feel when you're using your Wi-Fi password in this way? Go ahead and type that in. I'd love to hear from you. Yeah, warm, relaxed, connected to the brand, hungry, yes. It reminds you where you are, right? And it reminds you, I'm not just anywhere getting a sandwich. I am in this place, and this is what they stand for. And they're all about, really fresh, high quality food. So it really works for them. So even think about, what is your Wi-Fi password, and things like that, where you can really make that hit home.
Okay, so we're going to also show you a few examples from Brand School alumni. We picked two to share with you to kind of show you how their small businesses applied the Brand School methodology, and they really had some breakthrough moments particularly on words. So we wanted to share that with you because we think many of you can relate to it, and you can also kind of see all the thinking that goes behind it and the results from applying a twist to their businesses. So the first up is navigate. So navigate, talk about a competitive landscape of boring language and jargon. So navigate helps pharmacists and physicians particularly help navigate their student loan debt, right? So they're in the finance genre. And this was Navigate before Brand School. And Joy is the founder and owner of Navigate. And Julie, when she first came to Brand School, was she just stuck?
Yeah, and I met her, actually. I spoke to a women's group at a financial services conference, and she came right up to me because we did a twisting exercise, and she said, there's just everybody's saying the same thing. Everybody in financial services, the path forward, navigate, everybody's using these, just really stock images, not that interesting. And she was just full of personality. I just recognized her right away in a room of women, and she loved twisting, and she had so much fun with it, and she got it right away. And she'd never done it before, but she was just really hungry for something that would help her break out. So we talked about, and we used this. Do you guys recognize who this is from? Wah, 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 as an expression. I'd type that in if you recognize this, because we talk about this a lot in Brand School. You're right. Charlie Brown, Snoopy. So this is what Charlie Brown hears, or all the Peanuts characters hear when the teacher speaks. I think it's sometimes what my kids hear too. But anyway, so this is all the adults, right? So wah wah wah. So to get away from the wah wah wah, what we do is we do these exercises where you start with a bullseye map. You get your target. You understand what the promise is. And then you start, only when you really understand your promise and your pillars, do you start to get into actually your language. And so, Joe, should I keep going on this one?
Well, I can jump in too. So Joy joined us for Brand School. It's an 8-week program, and what Julie just showed you were the different exercises that go into then the results of, transformed brands, of which words are a huge part of it. This is an example of an exercise we do. So when you're figuring out the words that you need to be using in order to connect to your audience, we always talk about how brands aim higher, and how once you've cracked that core brand promise that you have in the supporting pillars, you keep aiming higher to always connect with like the higher order benefits. So this is in the kind of what you're selling and why should your audience even believe it. At the very bottom of the pyramid, we talk about, your products and services, especially in the student loan education field. This is where we all start in Brand School, and probably every business strategy development. You're very low on the pyramid. You're offering education and advice in your particular field. But then as you keep aiming higher and working up higher in the pyramid, you're really realizing that you're connecting with more of a higher order benefit for your audience. An emotional connection, like really, what are you doing for them? And so Joy worked through this over the 8 weeks, and she came up with this idea of course, we want happy doctors, happy CEOs, in terms of, they're helping their physicians and their nurses navigate their student debt, which becomes, so important for the operation of the hospital or whomever. But she came up with this idea of really flipping the script in terms of recruitment. She realized that a lot of these doctors and CEOs in recruiting, they were always on the back foot when their candidates started asking them, well, what are you going to do about my student loans? So she really wanted to explore this idea of flipping the script to kind of get ahead of it and also turn all that dread of student loans into a lot of optimism. She also, throughout brand school, when we explored different brands, she was really inspired by Nike. Nike in terms of, well, what is everyone on the, why don't you guys type in, what do you think of, what are some of the values from Nike that you think of as a brand? Just do it, of course. Yep, exactly. Just do it. And it's a lot about performance and pushing yourself forward. Yes, and empowering. And when Joy was looking at her Navigate brand and where she wanted to take it to, particularly for her audience, she was really inspired by what Nike is doing. And so she twisted with Nike, and this is her branding evolution. So it went from navigate with these waves to navigate with the inspiration from Nike Plus and performance. And her tagline ended up to be in the vein of just do it. Let's flip the script on student debt. And she worked with a network of brand school talent for both a designer and a copywriter. Erica is actually on the line to really kind of take this idea of flip the script, which is far away from, navigating student loans, and, apply it throughout the different elements of her site. The whole idea is flip the script is, change the conversation. Let's think about this in a more optimistic way. So she came up with her tagline, and then within her brand experience, when she talks about her team, we pulled out one element from her site. She has a little bit more fun with this idea of flip the script. So when she's even talking about her team and the expertise that they're bringing to student loan navigation, she adds a little fun. She's always flipping the script and spends her time fishing for panfish, so on and so forth. So she's taking this kind of idea of optimism and surprise and delight to the various elements of how she's even writing her copy for explaining what she does. Do you want to add anything for that one, Julie?
No, I think I hopefully you guys see it. So this is one category, which is financial services. Joy, the product actually helps hospitals that are recruiting physicians with tools that they can offer their physicians to reduce their debt. So it's a huge recruitment tool for them. And I think you could see how she went from navigating what to something that's really going to stand out. She speaks a lot of conferences now. She has a PowerPoint template that uses these pluses. She has a whole new visual imagery, gets tons of wonderful comments about how this really breaks through. So that's, one industry. I know we have a lot of different industries on the phone today. I wanted to show you another one, which maybe some of you can relate to, which is a marketing agency. So this is a marketing agency local to Westchester, and I want to stress here that these guys are creative for a living. It's Rob and Ryan, two guys, young guys, run this company, and they came to me and they said, we're really good at doing this for our clients, but we're really not good at doing it for ourselves. And their agency was called The Branding Buzz, and this was their website. So what are your impressions just from that name and that website, The Branding Buzz? Does it sound like it has a twist to you? Yeah, it looks like a jeweler because that was one of their clients that they were showcasing. Yeah, it's wah, it's boring, right? Not at all in line with these guys who are very sharp and very, very interesting. And so they sucked up their pride. They said, yes, you know what? We can do this for our clients, but we need help. We're going to take brand school. And we did some work with them, and they got really clear on their target. And they weren't just going after any small business. They were going after particularly businesses who had lots of different pieces that didn't fit together. Let me know if you relate to this actually in your own business. Maybe their website was okay, but then they didn't like their logo or their business cards, or their social media was okay, but their website wasn't very okay. It was like, if they looked at all of their branding touch points laid out, in a brand experience audit, which is something we do in brand school, some of them would get A's and some of them would get B's and some of them would get F minuses. Can you guys relate to that? Very fragmented, right? So Rob decided that in working with brand school, they came up with this brand idea, which was actually really rooted in their personal twists, because one of them is really good at technology and their partner is really good at design. And they sort of look like Mutt and Jeff, like one is little and one is really tall. They have very different personalities, but they realized that when they work together, when they bring design and technology together, it's a beautiful thing. It takes that fragmentation into something that feels very whole. So when I met them, they had brainstormed literally hundreds of names. And I said, how are you going about this? And they said, well, we just sit each in our own office with a beer, maybe after work. We each write down a bunch of names and then we compare lists, and whatever the other person think doesn't suck on our, is a name that we'll think about. And I thought, oh, goodness, that is not the way to go about creating, a really kick-ass brand. What doesn't suck? So as soon as they came up with this brand idea, then they came up with this name, which is Play Nice Together. So what they realize is when design and technology play nice together, they can create amazing marketing solutions. And they went and created, and remember the buzz branding, they really let their creative talents fly. And they created this brand called Play Nice Together. And you can see in the copy here, I'll just let it sink in, but they're having so much fun with it. Ryan is the head honcho. He can be reached, via, I think one of them says via strobe or telegraph. One can be reached through the bat signal. Rick can be reached through the bat signal. So this just use of language and words, which came through their work, their very hard work in brand school on their target and their brand idea, overnight really revolutionized their brand. And what was really,
sorry.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that they were worried in the beginning. They said, well, what if people think it's too frivolous, or they think we're, doing marketing for toys, or we're focused on kids, or they're offended, right? Which is something we used to think about at Virgin. What if we offend somebody? And then we thought, well, you know what? Good. Because if you're meeting with a client and they don't respond to this, then you're not going to have a great 3-month, 6-month engagement working with them. I mean, I really believe we have to bring our whole selves to our brands, and our personal brands to their brands. And that's a good way of figuring out, who gets you and who you want to work with and who you don't. So just to summarize, and now we're going to do some twisting with you guys. It is about the words, but in order to get to the words, you have to really understand your target. You have to really understand emotionally what connects them, what's keeping them up at night. As Cheryl said, what's at the top of their pyramid. And then you need to look outside of the category for twists, for fresh language, for fresh visuals, which I think both of these brands that we just showed you, really did. So it doesn't always have to be funny. I just want to say that, for these particular, for Rob and Ryan, it was funny. I think for Joy, it's pretty serious, like doctors, hospitals, student loan debt. These are some big issues, but she used the power and empathy of Nike to break through with a really empowering tone of voice. Rob and Rick and Ryan really used something that was much more, maybe frivolous and fun. I think they were inspired by South Park and some other brands that they loved that were just really fun, but each of it works for them. So we're going to try a tagline twist now. And this is something that we do in brand school. We look, once we have our target, our brand idea, brand pillars, and it's time to express it, we say, what brands are out there? They're outside of my category that are doing something interesting that I can use as a starting point to create a twist for my own brand. So we're going to we've noticed, Cheryl and I've noticed that there have been a couple of brands lately that have caught our attention that use this kind of comparison format. So for NPR, they say it's not just the news, it's your next conversation. So they're comparing to all the other news shows out there, and God knows there's hundreds of them. But the twist of NPR is that it's very thoughtful, it's very thought-provoking, it's listener supported, so it's very conversational, so it's your next conversation. Here's another one with the Memorial Sloan Kettering. And again, since hospitals have been allowed to advertise a few years ago, we see a ton of advertising for hospitals. More science, less fear. You see how that's kind of breaking through right away? You're getting more of this, less of that. So they really understand what's keeping their target up at night. On a lighter note, HelloFresh, I don't know if anybody uses this brand, but it's also talking about more choices, less boredom, right? So do you understand the kind of more, less format? Let me know if there are any questions on that. Because what we'd like to do now is just a quick twisting taster, is to have you think about, with your brand, let's say you were twisting it with HelloFresh, what idea that you be able to come up with? So what are you offering more of that people want and taking away less of that people don't want? So I'll give you a second to just go ahead and see if that inspires any ideas. And if it does, go ahead and type that in. And believe me, don't wait for it to be perfect. If an idea just comes to your head, or even it's a half of an idea, that's what we completely encourage in brand school. We're here, the community's here to help make it better, but you don't want to wait for it to be perfect in order to get it out there. Okay, so not a shy crowd at all. Okay. More service, less stress, more top line, less hurdles, more vibrance, less headaches, more quality training, less intimidation. Oh, I like this, Suzanne. More knowledge, fewer mistakes. Oh, Deb, more love, less fear. More power, less cost. Yeah, and Andrea's taking away the less overwhelm and stress and more effective. Right, so this is just one example, and you guys literally did that in 30 seconds. This is like a power crew here. I'm still getting more authenticity, less false.
This is amazing, because I bet a lot of people joined today thinking, oh my gosh, I'm so stuck in my tagline and I'm so sick of thinking about it. And just with this small twist, which this is just like one sentence of the whole twist exercise we have in the brands work for this week, where we look at, you could look at from 3 to 50 taglines. Just this one small twist. Look at all these great ideas that are coming for your business.
Like more done, less stress. It's very true.
Less want, more clarity.
Yeah, and so what we do for this exercise is we, again, this particular lesson comes about halfway into brand school, but you know what's going to resonate with your target and your promise, and then we look at a bunch of different brands. So you might want to look at Nike and say, what's your twist on just do it? Just brand it. Just twist it. I guess would be mine. Just twist it. Or you might say, because I'm worth it. From L'Oreal, which is a great tagline. Why it really hits the emotions, the few, the proud, the Marines. Gut milk, right? There's so many great things out there, but by taking the pressure off of yourselves to think, oh, I got to be the best, I got to come up with the best consulting tagline possible, and twisting with other categories, it really opens up, new ideas for you. So in the case of my own branding, I think it's what I believe, the reason why I started brand school and the reason why I believe in the twist is, my goal is to get you more business. And I think more business type in here if you want more business. I want to make sure that I've got a group of people who are looking to expand their brands. Okay. So, yes. So if you're looking for more business, and actually my second question is, type in here if, you want more business, but you want to get it with, I guess, less wasted budget. I think a lot of us had the experience where we invest in marketing, and some of us invest quite a lot, because it's not cheap to do things well and right, but we don't ever connect with our target. It's like you're wasting money. I think you'd be better off than $5 on a Facebook ad, spending $5 and going into Starbucks and noticing all their vomit bag moments, how they connect with their customers, how they name their products, how they create the experience with the Wi-Fi, the baristas, what's at their top of the pyramid, which is really, I think, community, right? They're not selling coffee, they're selling community. So take that $5 and do that. But it's really, your marketing may not be landing because you don't really understand your customers. You haven't really figured out what you're selling, what you're really promising. It's not navigation. It's more about just totally changing that conversation. Or it's not marketing. It's really about making everything work together so it feels really whole and you can be really proud of your marketing. It's figuring that out and then getting some fresh language to express it. So that's what really passionate. I know, I get really passionate about this. So I'm gonna pull it back and turn it over to Cheryl, because I'm
so no more wasting time. So we have to let everyone on the call know that brand school is the way to get more business with less jargon. Okay. So brand school, we have another semester coming April 12th. And I know from the list of attendees here, some of you have already taken it. Fantastic. Some of you have been thinking about taking it since the very first time you heard Julie speak, and here you are again listening to her stories. Again, it's time to stop wasting your time and money and find your twist. So here is our big plug on brand school. So yes, our next semester starts April 12th, and it's an 8-week program. And what we help you do in this 8-week program is not only find your new business name or your new tagline, but even bigger than that, we help you find your twist. So in 8 weeks, this is what it looks like. We go through your brand diagnostic first and foremost, and your goal setting. We have to figure out the lay of the land and figure out what you're going to accomplish in these 8 weeks. We help you work through your who, what, why, and how. So who are you targeting? You cannot target everybody to get to the words that matter. You need to find what we call your BAE, your target audience, before anyone else, and have the strength to really hone in on them. We figure out your what are you selling? And, not your products and services, but really at the top of the pyramid, what are you helping your BAE accomplish, and why should they believe you? The why is my favorite part of brand school. Help develop your story, your elevator pitch, bring in your personal twist. For those who are not totally new to the twist world, I know that you've seen examples, particularly powerful examples of people bringing in their personal twist. I don't know if any of you remember the designer who took brand school that was a trapeze artist and has become Hercules. So we work you through the why, and then of course how. So today you had a little bit of a, kind of jump start to the how with meaning and tagline, but we really figure out how to implement this. It's 8 weeks. It's from the comfort of your own home, but it is live. Every Thursday we meet at 12 noon, just like this, where we go through, Julie teaches us about the lesson of the week. And then we have brand buddies and the faculty members and everyone to help you through this work. So we call it brand work. But what's beautiful about it is you can join from wherever. It's live classes, like we said, so it's not recording. It's very interactive, lots of twists. So if you liked this more or less activity and it got you a little inspired and ready for more, I mean, it's just the tip of the iceberg. You get weekly feedback on your business. So you're not doing it yourself and left to your own devices. We give you feedback on what's working and what's not. And we give you so many ideas of new twists to look at. And one-on-one coaching from Julie and the extended faculty. I'm a member of the faculty, and we have a group of very talented and lovers of the twist throughout every industry. So it's pretty remarkable, and it will change your business and maybe even your life, if I can go there. And here's the deal. So we value this at over $26,000, which I think is actually very conservative. When you think about engaging a branding agency to help you work through this, it's a hefty investment. Brand school, the tuition of brand school is $19.50. And for everyone today, to help you unleash the power of words, we actually have a promo code POWER, which will take $250 off your tuition. And we have payment plans too, which we always have. People ask us, you know, we love small businesses and we don't want to kill your balance sheet. So with the promo code, it comes down to $1,700, but you can pay monthly. So it becomes, you know, over 4 months, $425 a month to really figure out your twist and take your business, you know, really to a whole new level, break out from the competition, become memorable, find your inner Richard Branson, all of it. But here's the kicker, is that class starts April 12th. So if you are serious about this, and we mean really serious, you have to enroll. And if you want to talk to us about it, we're here. So we'll be getting a follow-up email from today's call with the recording, and also a link to schedule time with us if you think that brand school is right for you. But the time is now.
Time to just do it, right?
Yeah, just do it. Just twist it.
Yeah. So if there are any questions now, or you want to reach out to either of us, but if there's any questions about anything that if we've said right now, or any questions about brand school, you can definitely reach us, Julie at Brand Twist, Cheryl at Brand Twist. And hopefully, just looking to see what time, move my phone. Yeah, so we've got a couple more minutes, but we really enjoyed your interaction and hearing from you guys, and thank you for the kind comments that are coming up here, and we are really happy to keep the conversation going. And I know you're going to start to see some twists this weekend. So if you do, you know, if you see a great brand that you think is really interesting, you can also go to the Brand School Facebook page, Brand Twist Facebook page, and post and say, hey, I just saw this weekend. I think this would be a great brand to twist with. Or you can reach me at Twitter, which is at jcottin, COTTIN on Twitter, and I will respond. I love to continue the conversation in every way we can. And thank you to Cheryl, and thank you to all of you for showing up and twisting with us. And hope everybody has a nice holiday weekend.
Yay. See you next month, the next Twist webinar.
Hope to see you soon at Brown School. Thanks. Bye.